Hi, welcome to the second tutorial. Uh, Open up your Blender, preferably 2.69, maximize, and click anywhere to get rid of that splash screen. Today we're going to make a fancy table and two chairs. And instead of doing a beauty pass this time, we're making a movie, an MP4 movie. We're just going to take a picture of it. Okay, let's get going. We're going to make sure that that object is selected. You know that because it has an orange outline. And we're going to go to Edit Mode. And we're going to add a modifier. So come over here to your Properties bar and click on the wrench. Looks like a little wrench, a little adjustable. And we're going to click on Subdivision Surface. Now something strange happens. It seems to turn into a buckyball, but don't worry about that. We're now going to deselect everything by pressing A. I'm going to zoom in a little bit with my middle scroll wheel on my mouse, and press B to box in the bottom four vertices. And we're going to make a seat. We're going to make a chair. So make a nice thin chair, right? That'll be the seat part of our chair. So I'm holding my middle scroll wheel and I'm scrolling down to about here, and I'm going back to solid. Okay, and it is a very strange shape. Hold your mouse now about here and go Control R, and you'll get a purple line. So go ahead and click. Notice where my mouse was placed. It was placed sort of in this, along this edge here. So I'm going to go up. We'll eventually make a little margin on all four sides. Right now I'm just doing this top left side. And I'm going to go fairly thin because eventually we'll make little faces here that will extrude up to become legs and the backrest. Okay, so hold your mouse about here and go Control R again. Again, you'll get another purple, so you click and drag down about the same margin if you can. It's just very rough. Yep. Hold your mouse here now. Control R. Now we're going to click and we're dragging lines. We'll try to make it as square as we can. Put your mouse back there. Control R. Click. Drag up. And there you go. There you go. So it's generally squared. These are more rectangular. Those are nice and square back there. Okay. We are on vertices. There's vertices, there's lines, there's faces. So we're going to click faces. Notice with faces, faces puts a dot in the center of each plane or each face. Vertices puts little squares at the end of the lines. Lines looks kind of minimal. Nothing's happening there. Although you can right click on a line and it'll highlight. But here we're going to click on faces, okay? And press on your middle scroll wheel. We'll get underneath our chair, right? And we're going to right click a face. Hold down your shift key, right click, shift right click, whoops, and shift right click. Good. So you have those four corners, and you can see what we're going to do. We're going to extrude those to make the legs. So go ahead and do that. Just tap E, just tap it, and extrude. And I've just extruded a little too far, maybe. Maybe that'll be better. There we go. Okay. These look a bit funny. So again, we should probably subdivide these. So just hold your mouse over one of these legs, go Control R, and notice you'll get one purple square. So just scroll up one, so you get 2, 3, 4, and click, click. There you go. That straightens it out a bit, right? So hold your mouse over here, and we'll keep doing that. Control R. We've got one square. You scroll up on your middle scroll wheel on your mouse. 2, 3, 4, and then you click, click, and we'll keep doing that. Control R. 1, 2, 3, 4. Click, click, and Control R. 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoops, 4. There you go. And click, click. There you go. So now you have the beginnings of a chair, just very quickly. Notice it jumps out of the faces. It jumped back to line for some reason. And I'm missing my dots again. But no panic, we just go back to faces again. And we're going to do the back of the chair now. So you right click that little square, shift right click. So I got those two selected. And go ahead and tap E to extrude. And we're going to extrude the back of the chair. Okay. Now again, it looks very strange. It's kind of fat on the bottom and too skinny on the top, very pointy. So just hold your mouse over that. Control R to subdivide. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Click, click. The back of the chair is a little taller. Control R. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's very important that you're consistent. Why? I want, 6 divisions on both sides so that it lines up on the back. Again, it kicked me out of faces. Look, it got me back into lines for some reason. And what we want to do now is, is just right click. And, I'm going to press 3. I'm going to press 3 and 5 on my keypad to get me into right orthographic. So 5 takes you from perspective into orthographic. So that's what the 5 does. And 3 gets me on the right side. 1, I'd be looking at the profile of the chair, and that's not going to serve me very well now because I'm dragging from this side. And I'm going to just drag over to about there. God, that looks awful. What happened? What is happening? Oh! I just dragged it. Whoops, I meant to extrude. So tap E and we'll extrude to the middle. Careful of that. I just dragged down that green arrow instead of extruding. So if I drag on the green arrow, I get this ridiculous, see how they look differently? See, that's not very good. Control Z takes you out of any mistake. Control Z is a safe backup. Press 3 again to go to right orthographic. Press E. E to extrude. That's what we're doing. That looks a bit better. Okay. Now you end up with this weird. There's a little dent in our chair, which is not very. Not very attractive. So, by the way, I'm panning here. I'm holding down my Shift key. Shift and my middle mouse button lets me pan around like a picture. If I let go Shift and click on my middle mouse, I pivot around a point. Right? I'm pivoting around a point there. Okay, anyway, I'm trying to get close to my back here, so I'm holding Shift and my middle mouse bar. Why don't we subdivide this? So again, we subdivide it by going Control R. Oh, yeah. You got to hold your mouse. If your mouse is in the center, look, you press Control R and it's like you didn't do anything. It's got to be on the edge or on the edge. Right? So we want the mouse here. You click 1. Whoops. That was a mistake. Click back out of that. Sorry, let's do all that again. Control R, and we have to scroll up to subdivide it. So we have 1 line, 2 lines, 3 lines, 4 lines. Will be good. Click, click. Sorry about that. And let's do it over here. Control R. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, click, click. So now, here's our trouble area. So come down here and go to vertices, and press A to deselect. Press B to box in our trouble area. And just throw that all away by pressing X. We'll delete those vertices. There, that's nice. Whoops. You know what we should have done? We should have switched to wireframe and press B to make sure that we got all of them. That was a mistake there. Yeah. So, yeah, we should have went to wireframe. Wireframe lets you see through objects, so we should have looked through it to make sure we got all of them. But make sure that you get rid of that trouble spot by just pressing B and boxing in those problem areas. Anyway, okay, so now we're going to face this in by right-clicking. Hold down your Shift key and right-click. Shift right-click, Shift right-click. Notice I've chosen the top of the chair. Just press F to face all that in. Now we're going to right-click, Shift right-click, Shift right-click, Shift right-click to face that in. right click, shift right click, shift right click, shift right click to face that in. And finally, there's a hole in the bottom here, so I'm just choosing those 4 vertices and I'm facing that in. Now if we go back to solid, we have our chair. Object mode, there. We've just created a chair using the subdivision surface. Okay, now let's keep going. Let's make our, actually drag your chair up. Let's go ahead and deselect that object by pressing A, and we're going to add a mesh, a plane, and press G to grab that plane and move it up on that side of the chair. Hold down your shift key and your middle mouse and drag it over here. We're going to switch to edit mode. Press X to delete that. Let's make a real fancy table leg. So hold down your control key and just a normal left click and left click. Let's go ahead and make a shape that looks like this. Make a shape that looks like this. Well, this is a bit rough, but anyway, we'll eventually get there. What am I doing? Yeah, let's go to here and to here. And now I want to connect that dot to that dot, so I have to hold down my shift key and right click and go ahead and press F to face that in. So go ahead and try to make a shape that looks roughly like this. What you can do is just, if you can right click these points just to tidy them up a little bit. That might be too far over, so just go ahead and fix up some of these points if you want. I'm just right clicking and then using these arrow keys to just straighten them out a little bit. Just bringing that down. There we go. That looks, it doesn't have to be perfect because it is going to be much smaller. Okay, so basically it is a sort of circular object but with 2 indentations, right? 2 indentations there. Okay, let's look at this from the side. Actually, click on that green arrow and bring that out there. Hold your shift key and your middle mouse to bring it there. So here's what it looks like from the front. I pressed 1 on my keypad, right? Press 3 on my keypad, and I'm looking at it from the side, right? So we're going to extrude this now. So just tap E to extrude, and R to rotate, and S to scale it down. Now I'm just going to bring that down a little bit. I'm going to have this leg come down. Let's keep doing that. So we're pressing E to extrude, R to rotate, S to scale. That's all we're doing. E, S, and R. So E to extrude, R to rotate, and S to scale it way down. That's all we're doing. E, E. Now I'm going to rotate out this way, and E, and rotate. And now I'm going to actually just go ahead and make the foot part of the most sort of fancy table legs have like a lion's paw as a foot. So we're going to, oh, I'm finding that difficult to, okay, so go ahead and extrude. I'm just tapping E. Now tap E again, right? But now we're going to tap S to scale that up into a big lion's paw. And E, there we go, whoops. And E and S to scale it down. There we go. And you can try to balance that out a bit. There you go. So that's your real fancy table leg. Okay, I'm pressing on my middle. Now, whoops, pressing my middle scroll button to pan around and see how it looks. You can see how we extruded that original shape with those 2 indentations, and now it's come down to this real fancy table leg. Before you click anywhere now, make sure that you press F to face that in, and so that becomes solid, right? So we have our table leg, and go back to object mode, and press S to scale that down. It should only be about a little smaller actually. I would say it'll go on the floor and maybe come up maybe 3/4 of the way to the top of your seat, right? Alrighty, Now let's look down at it by pressing 7 on our keypad. And we need 4 of these, 4 table legs. So that's a nice little one there. So go ahead and hold down your Shift key and press D. So that's Shift D to grab a copy. Now I'm going to press R to rotate it. But I'm going to press 9-0 on the top of my keyboard and press Enter. So I rotate it exactly 90 degrees. Tap G to grab it, and let's move it. Let's move it right there. Okay. Move it right there. Let's do all that again. So let's go Shift D. D is in Mr. Davis. And R to rotate 90 degrees. Enter. G to grab it. There you go. Shift D. Rotate 90 degrees. Press Enter. Grab it. There we go. This is looking rather... This is going to be a rather large opening there. But not... So we got our chair, and this is the beginnings of our fancy table. So this is going to be a big table here. Okay, press 7, so we're looking right straight down on it. Press A to deselect. And let us add a mesh, a circle. Whoops, it popped up under our chair. Of course, that's where our crosshairs are. Just press G to grab that circle and put it right there. Press S to scale that down, so just barely takes in our legs. Just drag that. I'm trying to get it so that it pokes out evenly, you know, on all sides there. Okay, press 1 to look at it. Yeah, it's on the floor. That's not good. So I just press 1, so I'm front orthographic. Just drag that up to about there. Yeah, about there. Okay, and we're going to switch from object mode into edit mode. And now let's extrude up and make this a real fancy post here in the center of our table. So we just tap E. Now again, it's going to be kind of floppy, so press Z so that it scales up the way you want it. Let's just click there. Tap E again, Z, the Z axis, and click S to scale it in. S to scale that in. I'll drag that down a bit. E. Whoops, keep pressing Z, otherwise it'll be kind of floppy there. Let's make it just a little decorative thing here, and we'll just scale this up into a little decorative, just a little decorative base here. Scale that down. I'm just pressing E and S and Z. That's all I'm doing. Good. Now I'm going to extrude all the way up, Z to about here, the top of our table, and S to scale that in. So it makes this classical post, right? Now I press E. I'm going to do the tabletop. So the tabletop. Now I'm going to scale this way out so that becomes the surface of the table. There we go. And tap E. And again, be careful of this floppy, so just press Z so it's nice and straight there. I'm going to do that one more time. I'm going to press E. And I just want to flare out. I'm going to press S to scale it up just a little bit so it creates this little flare. Now, our table is hollow, so just press F. And I faced in. I've made this lovely table. Switch back to object mode. And there we go. There's a fancy table and chair. What you could do is you could hold your Shift key and right click, right click, right click, right click. Okay, so all the objects that we just created are selected. Come over here to your object tools and click join. So now that's all one solid piece. So now we can come over here to our properties, click on the little sphere here, and click new. I like to try to get a sort of an orangey color to make it look like stained wood or something. We can darken it a bit or make it more orange, make it more red maybe. I don't know, whatever color appeals to you. And we could do the same with the chair. Make that a darkly stained chair. There we go. Alrighty, let's press 7 on our keypad. Tap G to grab our chair and move over here. Shift D to grab a copy of it, and press R to rotate it. There we go. So we have 2 chairs and a table. Press 1. Yep, they're all on the surface there. That's looking pretty good. Why don't we go ahead now? Press A to deselect. Deselect before you add any objects. And we're going to add a mesh. We're going to add a plane. And grab that, put it underneath here, and we're going to scale that up so it becomes like a little room. A little room. Actually, let's make our room a little bigger. There, that looks good. That looks good. And maybe something like that. Yeah. So we've got a surface there. Let's make that surface blue. We'll have a blue, maybe as if it was a blue carpet or something there. That's looking a bit bright. Let's just darken it a little bit. There we go. Good. And again, press A to deselect. And we're going to add a wall this time. So add a plane. Now we want that to be a wall. So press 3 to go to right orthographic. Rotate, press R, and 90, enter. So that becomes our wall. Okay. And so scale that up. Press an S, and we'll put that about there. Okay. And you want to drag that back, right? And drag it over this way. Actually, maybe I should press 7 so that there we go, I can see what I'm doing. Good, and we just want a copy of that wall. So you can go Shift D to grab a copy, and again, rotate 90 degrees. There we go. And we have 2 walls and a floor there. So now we could make these walls a kind of yellowy color. Let's try to make a bright yellow. That's not really working out, is it? Whoa. Okay, but anyway, we're trying to make a yellowy color there. There we go. Okay, so right-click your camera, and let's go View, Properties, and we'll lock Camera to View. Press 0 to get inside our camera, and now let's just hold Shift and make this like a little pretty picture of sorts. Actually, we're going to right-click this floor and scale it up because I can see that we had a trouble there. We could see beyond it, right? So we just scale that up so that our picture, our picture takes in the whole thing here, and there's no little holes or anything. So that's looking pretty good. That's looking very good, actually. So let's go ahead and render that and see how it looks. Oh, okay. So we need to fix our light source. Okay, so press Escape, and let's press 7. There's our light bulb. And it might be interesting, to grab that light bulb and put it right over the table. Or, actually, no, let's put it on the wall. And go Shift D and put another light bulb on the wall. Press 0 to get back in your camera. Again, come back here to camera, press Render. Uh-oh, I must have put them on the outside of the wall. I'm not getting... Oh, I did too, look at that. Press 7, bring them in the room. Bring your light bulbs into the room. Sorry about that. There we go. Are they in there? Yes, they were on the other side of the wall. That wasn't very good. Actually, that one's kind of half through. There we go. Bring our light bulbs into the room. Press 0. There we go. And we're going to render again. Ah, that looks better. That looks lovely. Got lots of shadows. It almost looks like a light bulb, like some sort of sconce on the side of the wall. Okay, the only thing you're missing now is your own name. You should pop your name in here. So press A to deselect. Add text. It's on the floor. Press 7. Press Tab. And you're going to backspace. And you're going to say fancy table and chairs by, and pop your name in. Please do not type Mr. Davis unless your name is Davis. You pop your first and last name there. Good. Okay. Now, if we're inside our camera, I just press 0, you can see that your text is not in the frame. So, press 3. We'll rotate this up. I just tapped R. And press 7. Press G to grab that and rotate it so that it's parallel with the camera. There's my camera, right, sort of on an angle, so I put my words on an angle. Press 0 to get back inside, and press G to grab that up. There we go. Hold on, is that parallel? It doesn't seem quite parallel. I'm just going to rotate that again. I press 7 and then rotate. I'm going to go 0. That's a little large. Let me scale that down a bit. Fancy Table and Chair by Mr. Davis. There we go. Pop it right there. There, that's lovely. So here's what I want you to do. Go ahead and render it. Once your light is good and your chairs and tables are good, fancy table and chair. Whoops, I misspelled chairs. Whoops. Escape. Tab. Uh-oh. How do I... I'm just hitting the arrow key. C-H-A-I-R-S. And press tab to get out of that. Whoops. Sorry about that. Don't forget to save. We should save at school. You'll go save, and you know, at school it'll be on your H drive. Here I'm using my home computer, gym folder, Dropbox, Blender files, and I'm going to call this fancy table tutorial. You can call it, you know, fancy table and chairs if you want. Whatever you want there. Okay, that'll show up at the top of your screen there. Go ahead and render it. When you're happy with the rendering, I'm happy with this, go ahead and press F3 on your keyboard. You'll get this window. It wants to save it now as just a picture, a PNG file. So come up here and call that fancy table and chairs. There we go. Save, and you are done. That's a 5 out of 5 if you get all that done. Okay, thanks for watching.